there, folks. Hey, how you doing? All right, doing a little, fun video here over on the Doctor Who channel today. We're going to be talking about Scotland again today. A little clip that Miss Sharon Sunshine sent me of something that happened over in British Parliament that those people on my channel know that I, feel pretty strongly about the principles of liberty and democracy and, equal representation and those sort of things. So we're going to be having a little bit of fun at, England's expense a bit because of something pretty shameful, I think, really, that happened in British Parliament, in my opinion. Regardless of politics, this type of thing, in my mind, should not be acceptable. It seems childish and petty, and but anyway, I'm gonna play a clip. But part of the reason for this is also to create some more, little banter or patter, as my, as one person who I watch on YouTube, Batchy, might say. Hopefully we're going to tweet this to him. We're going to tweet this to We Scottish Last and many other Scottish YouTubers that we can kind of tweet it around to. And see if we get somebody who will offer up some of their thoughts about it or whatnot. At least, and we're all looking to just keep it kind of fun, poke a little fun about it, not get too serious. But, I couldn't help but poke a little bit of fun at, the British Parliament here, because it really is. It's embarrassing to watch, these MPs walking out, and as you're going to see from my discussion with Sharon Sunshine, it's really like they're throwing a fit, like it's so childish. It's a childish thing to do, walking out the way they do. So anyway, I do think the speaker is a great guy. Despite his politics, he did what was right and held the floor so that he could allow Miss Cherry to speak. So it's interesting, but he did that because he knew those senators were getting up, making a commotion, they were just trying to make a commotion over the Scottish representative that wanted to speak. It's a very calculated move. It's childish. Nanner, 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 I don't want to hear it. So it's what it comes off like, right? So I poke a little bit of fun, obviously, and then I go into poking a little bit of fun at my good buddy, Mr. Capaldi, because as the mad Scotsman, as I call him, who's got an opinion about everything, somehow this has shut him up. So I decided to go for the throat. All right, folks, here's the clip, and then it'll be followed up by Miss Sunshine and myself. Hope you enjoy.
Mr. Speaker,
if members who are leaving the chamber, I understand the disappointment of the Honourable and Learned Lady, but I cannot compel members to remain. I cannot, to coin a phrase, take anybody hostage. I do not have the power to incarcerate. So now I'm trying to be helpful to the Honourable and Learned Lady. I'm playing for time. If members who, quite unaccountably, do not wish to listen to the Honourable and Learned Lady would leave the chamber quickly and quietly, the rest of us, including assuredly the chair, wishing to hear the Honourable Lady, can do so. I think people are gradually beetling out of the chamber. If the chair of the Education Select Committee feels that he can beetle out and conduct his conversation outside, that would be very greatly appreciated by the chair. Thank you. Point of order, Joanna Cherry.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for your indulgence. Viewers in Scotland are accustomed to the sight of the Tory benches emptying when speakers, members of Parliament representing Scottish seats get up, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing that in the SNP's party political broadcasts in the soon-to-come general election. But, Mr. Speaker, the point I want to make is an important one. The Prime Minister has failed to secure an approval of the withdrawal agreement today in terms of the Ben Act. And that means that under the law of this land, he should be retreating to number 10 to pen a letter to the European Union in terms of the Act and in terms of the undertakings, as so described by the Secretary of State for exiting the European Union, the undertakings that he gave to the Scottish Court. Fortunately, Mr. Speaker, we're back in court on Monday morning, and it will be possible then to secure the court's assistance if the Prime Minister has flouted the law and the promises he gave to the court. But, Mr. Speaker, can I ask this? Should Scotland's Supreme Court mandate you to sign the letter required by the Act on behalf of this Parliament, will you do so? Thank you.
I'm grateful to the honourable and learned lady. I have no expectation of being so asked, and moreover I have no aspirations to the exalted status that would have been attained by a person so requested or indeed directed by the court. But the short answer to the honourable and learned lady is that if I were instructed by this House, I would do as instructed, and if I were directed or instructed by a court, I would do as directed. That is my instinctive reaction. I would, of course, seek further and better particulars. I would take advice, but I repeat, I haven't been asked, I'm not expecting to be asked, I'm not looking to be asked, but I would do as I was required to do, and I would have no hesitation in so doing. Yes, indeed. Point of order.
All right, hello everybody. Here I am down in the corner here today with Sharon Sunshine over in Scotland.
Hi.
Glasgow, a Ouija,
Yep.
for those of you in the know. And so, obviously, we're coming off of the clip y'all just watched. So you saw that clip. That's down in Westminster in Parliament there, over in, Great Britain, England, London.
Yeah.
And what do you, I mean, so, I mean, there's a lot of thoughts, really, that I'm left with watching that clip.
Mm-hmm.
Now, am I an expert on English politics or British politics or European politics? By no means am I. But when I get intrigued, I start to learn. And I will be looking into this, and I'll tell you what, I can't help but think that England probably doesn't want this to be the note that they're starting out on. Because for me, I look at that clip, it's a bunch of English senators or MPs, however you want to look at it. Here in America, we would call them senators, but however you want. But you see them walking out when a Scottish MP steps up to speak. So, I mean, that is to me disrespectful to the point of, like, it's one thing to disagree about politics, right? It's one thing to disagree about politics and to disagree about what the correct course of action is or isn't. That's one thing. But to openly be disrespectful like that is really a whole other ball of wax. You've taken it beyond differences in, political ideology, and you've made it personal. And so that is not good. And so I gotta say, it's not a good note to see the Englandshire's MPs, starting out on in clips that I'm seeing lately like this. So hopefully they will think about that in the way they're looking in the world scope, because guess what? Englandshire, the world loves Scotland. Check them out on YouTube. There's a bunch of them. I was talking at the beginning of this video about, like, Batchy, you got Sharon from Scotland, you got all these YouTubers, and people are fascinated to go ahead and watch these channels and learn more about Scottish culture and everything. It's happening. That's what's happening. People love Scotland. So you need to kind of, like, realize that at some point, because people are going to start to love Scotland and see your shabby treatment.
Yep.
Right? Okay. Get it together, Englandshire. So, some of your thoughts about the clip. And go ahead and let them have it. I mean, I'd love to hear you go off on them.
Well, you know, the thing that I liked about it is because it was so obvious. The disrespect was so obvious.
Yes.
Because the fact that it's like when the MP stands up, they've only got a limited amount of time to say their point before the Speaker of the House says the next point. So it was a clear disrespect by leaving, but it was also the disruption. So it was trying to actually stop her from being able to make her point.
So it was calculated tactical move.
Yeah, yeah. So quite rightly they could have said, you've had enough time, and if she's not made her point,
which
too
makes
bad.
me like the Speaker even more now.
Yep,
That's
John
an
Burkle,
interesting little
John
tidbit.
Burkle.
Thank you for that.
Yep, yep. So he was saying, right, you know, just killing time, just killing time. So he was like holding the spot for her. So it was like her her question hadn't actually started until he said, you know, that's it. Now you can say your time starts now, basically. So that's why he was saying, you know, leave as quickly, as quietly as you can to avoid the disruption sort of thing.
Well, see, now I thought when he said that was brilliant because just to quickly touch on that before I let you continue, is that it was so brilliant because I felt like I didn't feel like he necessarily agreed with the Scottish MP's politics in the way I was listening to him speak. I felt like he probably didn't. But like I said, I don't fully understand all of this so well just yet. But the gist of it, in my layman's perception of it, I got the impression he wasn't necessarily on board with her, but he respected her right to speak.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he was, you know, showing his disdain for these MPs that were being so openly disrespectful, leaving the chamber that way. And it's very interesting, that little tidbit what you're saying about how he ended up, because he had so much class about it and because he knew what was going on, he held it so that he could get them out of there and let them do their thing. And I just love that when he said, do it as quickly and as quietly as you can. I thought that was brilliant. I thought whatever his politics were, his head was in the right place and his heart was too.
Yeah. Well, his job, he's supposed to be impartial. You know, he's supposed to, obviously he's got his own political. Yeah, he's very, very good. He's very, very good. And the saddest thing is, he's actually leaving on the 31st of
That
October.
is a sad thing. He's the best thing that Parliament has going for him right now.
Exactly. And he's done a lot for it. Although he's a Conservative with his politics, he has always been very impartial. But I have to say that he was not always as warm with the Scots when they came in. He was not always as warm. He was, you know, a bit, I think he maybe didn't understand them to start with and stuff like that. But, you know, their ways, you know, different culture coming in, you know, and it's like, they're all so stuffy, but the Scots are like, right, you know, we've got a point, like in your last video, you know, it'd be good if they were all Glaswegians. You know, it'd be good if they were all Glaswegians.
The thought did occur to me.
Yeah.
As I'm like watching those senators walking out the door, I'm like, if you had a bunch of Glaswegian, like 4 or 5 Glaswegian interns standing at every entrance right now, you would have them in a quandary. Because they wouldn't know which door to go through and which one of those Glaswegians might be.
And you know something, see, one of the things that was actually probably the worst, you would think would be the worst, right, is that one of the people leaving was the Prime Minister. It wasn't just the MPs. Right.
I did, yes,
so,
I did,
yeah. So it's like, he's the leader, you know, follow the leader, you know, out the door. And
shameful. It's shameful. It's childish. I'm sorry, Englandshire. You look like children.
They do.
I don't know what message you're trying to send, but guess what? There lots of people in the world are falling in love with Scotland, and I mean, this kind of behavior is just going to make you look like children on a world stage.
It does.
Seriously,
it really does.
Get it together. Pull your heads out of your backside. Go to the doctor to have them surgically removed. Whatever you got to do, but do it. Because, like, seriously, you look like children.
The thing is, for so long they've been sneaky about it. They've been snubbing Scotland very sneakily. They've been when we've got points that we want to make, and there's only an allotted time in the Parliament. It's like they'll waffle on about something for like too long, and it's like there's not enough time for the Scottish MPs to get there. Yeah, there's not enough time for them to get their bit in. So
that's something I would consider a fair tactic in the world of senators or MPs. That's, although I still think it's a little bit despicable. But here in America we have a thing called a filibuster, which would be something of a similar tactic, I would say. So begrudgingly, I will have to go, okay, that is a tool in a senator's toolkit. So I'll have to, be understanding of that.
They do, because I've watched quite a lot of things, quite a lot of American, the Congress type things. I watched quite a lot of them, and my husband will go, "What are you watching that for?" And I'll say, "Well, I'm interested." It's like, how are you going to, I'm always interested in things all over the world. Right. So it's nice that you're saying that the world loves Scotland, but I think that Scotland loves the world as well.
Just by watching your YouTubers and how popular they are, I mean, I have to say, and I'm interested. I mean, and I grew up in a family where I had an uncle who had gone and traveled to Scotland. He used to dress up in full garb. He actually played Amazing Grace on the bagpipes as he marched in a circle in full garb on our front lawn when I was a kid. I know that Scottish culture is loved, all around, and it seems like YouTube is only making that stronger because you got I love We Scottish Lass. Some of you may not know who Batchy is, but I discovered him recently. That guy is hilarious, dude. I freaking love that guy. He's I dig this whole thing with the Scots about the taking the piss out of each other. Like they
love it.
Although they are proud of of themselves and of being Scots and stuff, they're also willing to take each other down a peg, and everything.
Exactly.
And really get themselves, looking at each other seriously and, in a realistic way. And I dig that bit. I do. What was the thing, Batchy? Let's get your thoughts on this. Batchy pointed out that there are 2 cities in Scotland named Twat. What is up with that? How does that happen?
I know. Was it not? What was it he said it was, though? No, it was... Did it not mean a small patch of land or something like that? Is that not what it meant? It's like a small patch of, a small patch of desired land,
So anyways, there's videos like this, YouTubers
well
like
kept.
This, that are getting massive laughs, and and like I said, so. To me, people are going to be taking greater interest in Scotland, and if they find out about things like this, they're likely to take a negative attitude of Englandshire.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep calling them Englandshire for a while.
Exactly.
And don't get me wrong, folks. I love England. I do.
Me too.
I have been into English culture for a long time as well. I'm
Doctor Who.
Big fan of Mr. Bean, Doctor Who, Blackadder.
Yep.
Various comedies, in various movies. I mean, I'm all into it. I've had a bit of a nerd when it comes to the royalty and going all the way back through the royal line and all the way back to Albert.
Me too.
I've checked into all that stuff and have had people from England remark to me about how impressed they were with how much I seem to know about that stuff.
Retaining all the information.
So
that's a great thing.
It's no lack of love for England and British culture and that sort of stuff. It's just that, look, guys, you're looking like children right now.
Yes.
With that.
Yeah, and it's the leader. You have to say it starts with the leader, doesn't it? It's like, it's like they say throwing your dummy out a pram. That's what they say here. If somebody's having like a temper tantrum, like a kid, it's like throwing their dummy out, right? So it was basically they were throwing their dummy out, and they were running out the Parliament. And it's like,
yeah.
So definitely acting like kids, definitely.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm so glad it's visible.
You know,
exactly.
Like, it's
exactly.
That's what it comes off like. Watching
it really does.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, you know, it's like I say, it's the leader leading by example. You know, and it's like when the leader's who the leader is, and I know you have some troubles in America with that situation too. Well, you know, the leaders representing,
have a controversial leader at the moment.
Yes,
sure.
Yes, and they are a bit like sort of brothers from another mother when you see them together. You know, with the hair. You know, it's like like they must go to the same hairdresser.
Right.
So.
Is it orange? Are they both? I didn't see this guy.
No,
I didn't see the British PM.
Boris is really white, really white, and his hair's really white, but he always looks like he's straightened it and he's just got out his bed or something. It's always all over the place, and it's like, you know, the way that, you know, that
he doesn't spend enough time in a tanning bed.
No. Right. The opposite. I think he's been taking whitening pills.
But they could be twins, maybe, if he spends some time in a tanning bed. I'm thinking maybe.
Yes,
he might turn that nice color of orange, right? Anyway,
I think so. Yeah, definitely.
I am not trying to get involved in, you know, dogging the president or anything like that. So, you know, we'll let it go. But everybody knows he's orange. Anyways.
Yes, exactly. And what's wrong with orange? You're just pointing out the color that he is. That's it.
So he's orange crushing it. There you go. Anyway, so all right. So, but like I said, it's just this walking out business. You know, like, are those English MPs so threatened by what a Scottish MP might have to say? Are they so threatened that they can't even stand there and respectfully listen, even though they're going to vote against it, even though they're going to try to kill it in every way that they possibly can? They can't even have the common decency to stand there and listen. You
have to remember who it was, though. You have to remember who it was. It was Joanna Cherry, QC. That's who it was that was standing up. She's the one that went to the Supreme Court and got the thing against
Queen's Council.
Yes. Right. Yeah. She's the one that got the thing passed, that it was illegal what Boris Johnson was doing in the first place. So there's obviously an open snub against her, because it's like, you went to the court and pure got things against us. Do you know what I mean? It's like
having that little tidbit of knowledge. Okay, absolutely. It makes it even more. Yes, they're children.
Yep,
they are children kicking their feet, going wham wham wham. That's what it is. That's sad. That's truly sad. I hope I hope they're gonna pull their head out of their backsides.
Yes,
I mean, because you're looking like children. That's what
they
it looks like. I mean,
you know,
nanner, I don't want to hear. Yeah. That's what it's like. It's so, oh, wow.
And plus, I mean, the fact that, I know that's not obviously what we're all talking about today, but it's like the fact that Boris Johnson's going to have to ask for another extension for the Brexit thing. He's having to ask for another, because he can't get the vote.
Right.
They can't. He's put in for, you know what, this is what his idea is, this is what his deal is, that he thinks is going to be the best for the country.
Right.
And no one wants to vote for it, so he's going to have to.
It does seem like it's failing. I mean, it does. It doesn't seem like it's really working very well. I hear. For me personally, I seem to hear nothing but criticism of it. I know. Look, the thing that gets me the most is you sent me something last weekend where it was the clip of Scottish Parliament with the First Minister there. And she was like talking, and then suddenly one of the, I guess it's like your parliament, so it's one of these MPs, but this guy was actually an MP that comes from London, like he's like part of Englandshire's little thing. So he comes in there and he actually starts telling her like, oh well, can we expect Scotland to help, you know, absorb the cost of what it's going to be leaving, you know, with Brexit and leaving the European Union and blah 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 blah, and it's like she just stands there and goes, I find it shocking that you would even come here and suggest that. You guys kept us out of that decision-making process completely and stonewalled us and made the decision on your own anyway. And now you want to come here and tell us that we should be responsible for helping you to incur what you know. I mean, it was brilliant. She was just like, I mean, brilliantly stated. Like, you boxed us out, and now you're here telling us begging for our money. Are you serious right now? That's paraphrasing what she was telling this guy. It was like a bitch slap, dude. It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, and look, I don't want to get into the politics of this, but what she said was right. If you boxed us out of the democratic process, see, folks, that's what really gets Erekose out.
Yes.
When you want to mess with the democratic process, when you want to mess with the equal rights, the equal representation, when you want to mess with those principles, that's where I get upset.
That's not fair.
It's not about your politics with me. It's about
the principle
meaning of democracy and what it means to live in the free world, and what I hope it continues to mean to live in the free world.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's why I'm talking about this today. Not because the R's or the L's or the whatevers. It's not about that.
Exactly.
It's not.
Exactly. So that's the thing that I think that most Scots...
And we're having a little fun getting some digs in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now, to get back to talking about Scottish YouTubers. Obviously, me being the type of person who things like free speech, the democratic process, and the ideals that hold liberty and democracy and, you know, the free world together, and those things are important. I mean, those are important to me. So, in the light of this clip and things, I wanted to start trying to engage other YouTubers. Recently, we had some fun with We Scottish Lass, where we talked about the little rivalry between Glasgow and Edinburgh, and you know, so
via Livingston.
And that spurred We Scottish Lass to take some recent news where they had walked out on some Scottish locked out some Scottish MPs recently, and so she created this character England in her video, which was brilliant. I was just rolling on the floor laughing when England came onto the screen. Pinkies up. Anyway, so hilarious. So here's the idea. We wanted to engage other YouTubers. So that's why you guys have been hearing me talk about Batchy. You know, Batchy to me is one guy I really want to get into with, because number one, he loves patter. For those of you who are going, Erekose, what the hell are you talking about? What is patter? Well,
now you know.
I was the same way when I first heard it. Was like, I think I know what he's saying, but why is he saying that word? I don't understand it. Anyway,
you had to call up your Glasgow correspondent.
It just means chatter or somewhat small talk, but you know, somewhat entertaining back and forth, you know, whatever kind of talk. And so patter is an enjoyable kind of just back and forth. And so, in the interest of creating good patter, I will also be sending and tweeting this to him and see if I can get a response from him on this subject.
He's great.
Because, I think he would be brilliant. I'd love to hear his thoughts about that clip which we played. It will be brilliant to hear. I would love to hear We Scottish Lass's thoughts on that clip as well. But I know sometimes with We Scottish Lass, I think she does shy away from the more, you know, political issues possibly. So maybe we might not. But hey, she took it there with the creation of the character England. So hey, maybe she's game.
Plus remember, she did a video of the Independence March.
And that was
good.
She
put that on her channel, so that was good. That was good. I mean, I think, you know, obviously she's quite good with giving statistics out and stuff like that. She's done that in a lot of her videos. She's quite joined up on the statistics, you know. So I think it's like, you know, I think she tries to be sort of impartial that way, and you know that doesn't always, it's not always favourable sometimes.
I can understand how she wants to be careful.
But it's exactly.
But like I said, she introduced the character, and I gotta say it was brilliant. So I really am hoping to see her revisit that. I mean, because
Yep.
it was, she had me laughing so hard. I was just like, oh my gosh, man. Just the way she reacts to herself, where she's like, oh my God, England, what are you doing here? You know, like.
I know.
Oh my Lord.
And plus,
Anyway.
you had ideas though as well for her. You know, you had ideas.
Yeah, I did. I sent her an idea.
Yeah,
If she does decide to respond, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, but
But you know, see, Batchy, I really liked him when he was talking about Jamie Oliver, about the sugar. Oh, I loved it. Remember I sent that to you?
Right.
As well about the Jamie Oliver, because he was the one that
the
spearheaded the sugar
right.
reduction of the sugar,
Right.
changed the iron brew recipe.
Yes.
Then his restaurants all crashed.
Yes.
And he was like, it's a shame. I mean, God, it's a shame for all the staff and all that, but it's like, don't be coming to Scotland. Don't be messing with our iron brew.
Yeah, right.
Your restaurants will close, you know. So it's like, yeah.
If Scotland gets independence, can they put the sugar back in iron brew?
Well, I don't think there's a reason why they wouldn't, but I mean, I think it's traditionally it was better with the sugar in, but I think for health it's better not being in it, you know.
Yeah, well.
I think people should just try and get used to it the way that it is, but I think it's the fact that maybe someone from Englandshire coming up and interfering with one of our national drinks, you know, it's like that maybe didn't sit too well with a lot of people, you know, so.
I think they should offer the original recipe,
Mm-hmm.
and then they should offer the alternative
absolutely.
as well.
Yes, and people can make the educated decision. Yes, that's it.
That's what you do in a democratic society.
And yeah, it's not a communist, you shall drink. You know, it's like, yeah, so.
So, I would like to see that myself. I mean, hey, look, Coke Classic tried to do a similar thing here, and it wasn't because of some senator. It was just because Coke was losing their grip, and Pepsi was taking over, and so it was a desperation move. Oh, new Coke. And basically it just tasted a little more like Pepsi. You know what I mean? And people hated it. You know, the people that loved Coke were like, screw you, this sucks. You know, and like, we don't like Pepsi to begin with, so now what do we do? You know,
Did you see the Batchy one where he drove all the way up to Aberdeen to get a crate of the original Iron Brew?
I watched part of that.
They went all the way to Aberdeen to get the original Iron Brew, and that's not uncommon. People were going crazy for it, you know, the original recipe sort of thing. So yeah, it's quite. I like his videos. So his videos.
He's funny. He's a witty the That's why it'll be
Yeah, the asylum one was funny as anything.
A response from him on it. So
when they went to that asylum and they all got a fright, and I loved that one. That was so funny as well. And the Star Trek movie, do you remember they wrote in the Star Wars movie? No. Did you not see that? No, it was someone had written in the sign saying, "Please do not let your dog."
Yeah.
So I'm going to laugh at
No, but the one I did.
Let your dog.
The other one he did.
It was in yellow.
He was talking about how the only Twitter that's worth a damn is Scottish Twitter. Yes. All the other Twitter is shite.
I agree.
Oh my God, it was so funny. And he's just like going through, he was going through Scottish Twitter stuff and everything, and it was just like hilarious. It was like, oh my God. Yeah, dude, Batchy's a witty guy. He's pretty funny.
Yes, he's funny.
It will be very interesting to see if we get a response from him, or potentially any of the other Scottish YouTubers I'm going to try and send this to. Maybe even Sean. I know there's that Sean.
Yeah, Sean Vlogs.
Sean
he's nice as well. Yeah, he's
so
nice.
So we might try him, and I know there's some others. So we'll see if we can get some. Yeah, we can get a little something stirred up for fun. Anyway, so.
Sean did that nice one where he did the NC 500, the North Coast 500 route in the electric car that Tesla did it in. He did a video of that recently, and that was really nice. That's a good one to watch.
I watched part of the stuff where he came over to America as as an ambassador of culture or something like that. It was interesting. I saw a little bit of those, but so obviously the idea was we're going to try to toss this around with other YouTubers, create a little bit of buzz. So I naturally thought, well, my friend, my good buddy.
Yes.
My pal.
Know where this is going.
my supposed brother could help me out with this, Mr. Capaldi. And so I've been trying to get him to, like, I don't know, respond to anything I've said about this so far. And he is tight-lipped. This guy is speechless. Folks, let me just tell you a little bit about Paul Capaldi. This guy is constantly busting my balls. This guy is, about everything. Oh, Americans and their guns. Why do you have guns? And guns is. It's like, and I'm like, I don't own a gun, Paul. I don't own a gun.
War pistol.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, guns. Okay, all right, Paul. Okay, dude. Okay, all right. On and on and on. It's not a justice system. It's a legal system. He tells me So he's talking crap about our justice system. Okay, all right. Okay, Paul. All right. And so opinion has an opinion about everything. But when I ask him about this, he doesn't have an opinion. He doesn't have an opinion. So this is the video where I goad him, call him out, and you know, generally be the pain in his backside that he usually is to me.
Yes.
So, here we go. You will hear this guy going on and on and on about gala shields, gala, this gala, that gala. Okay.
The borders.
The Scottish borders. The Scottish borders. You will hear him. He ends like every email with it. Scottish borders. Folks, you should have been with me in Australia. You should have heard this guy screaming at Steve Drizzen before the shows, saying, "I'm not from London." He's like, you know, because Steve Drizzen had made the wee mistake of saying that Paul was from London at one point, and Paul was then before every show screaming at Drizzen about how he's not from London. Made it very difficult to sit next to Paul, folks.
Yes.
It was very
nearly
awkward.
getting you arrested as well.
Very awkward. So you can understand when I say I know how opinionated this guy is, and suddenly he doesn't have an opinion, and I'm like, okay, all right, let's look deeper.
Yes.
Let's look a little. Well, when you look a little deeper, you actually find out that Paul actually doesn't come from Scotland.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah,
comes from Englandshire. So he's not really a Scot to begin with. He's just an opinionated,
mock jock
Londoner, basically. You know what I mean? So, so I think that revokes his Scot card right there. Unfortunately, because I was looking for more patter from Scottish YouTubers, but. Yeah. I am afraid that Paul probably no longer qualifies as a Scottish YouTuber, unfortunately. You know.
So do you think no opinion's an opinion in itself then?
Well, it's the fact that the guy's never at a loss for words.
Yes. That's what I mean.
Yeah. So I think in his case, somebody like him, who usually has way too much to say about everything.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it says something when he doesn't have anything to say.
Yeah. giving himself away.
Anything you want to say to Paul, Sharon? I know everybody would love a chance to hear you speak. I'll try not to interrupt.
Oh God, throw that in there, why don't you?
No.
Well, you know, I really like Paul. You know I like Paul as well. And it's like, I always enjoy what he has to say. I mean, he does vaguely look like Ken Kratz, which is a wee bit off-putting sometimes, you know?
He does actually sometimes look like the sweaty dumpling himself.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's, and you know, but, he's going to batter me for that. But, I do enjoy talking to Paul. I can't think, I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about Paul. I wish that he would have an opinion, you know, because it's like, we're very welcoming.
How about the fact that he's actually as Scottish as Spotted Dick? How about that?
Well, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure some people would use that name, yeah, if they were talking about Paul. But I mean, I don't know.
I say spotted dick because it's
it's a cake. Yeah, it's a cake.
England,
yeah,
right?
Yes,
So, anyway.
yeah, exactly.
And it's not what most of you are thinking it is.
No, it's not some sort of condition.
So those of you who are thinking dirty thoughts right now, go Google
Cream
it.
and it's fine in a couple of weeks.
Go Google it. And,
yeah. I've never had spotted. Never had spotted
That's because you're from Scotland. You're too busy eating haggis.
Yeah, I know. But there's a thing that we have that sounds as weird as a clouty dumpling. It's called. I mean, I don't know. It's like there's two fighting, a clouty dumpling or a spotted dick. I don't know which. They both sound a bit strange.
Right. So when it comes down to it, we are revoking Paul's Scott card.
Yes.
He is actually an Englandshire resident who is basically just come to Scotland, taken one of your women, and is just talks about Gallon in the Scottish borders, but he's about as Scottish as Spotted Dick. So
well, remember what I think about the borders. You know, it's like it used to be the borders were there to protect us. Right? Yeah. But now I think people that live in the borders can't decide whether they want to be Scottish or English, and that's why they're living in the middle. So it's like, so maybe that's what it is. And then also they call Scottish people jocks sometimes. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, right? So I think I'll refer to Paul as a mock jock. You know?
What is a jock?
So he's a mock.
What does it mean to be a jock?
It's just like Scottish. They just say, "Oh, jock." Jock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like a derogatory thing or anything like that, but they refer to the Scots as being like the jocks. Not like jock straps, you know. Right. That's what I was thinking. It's
that's why I immediately thinking if somehow they're using that to refer to Scots. I mean,
jock straps and spotted dicks. I mean, we could get really confused.
we call people in school that are really into sports. We call them jocks.
Yeah, the jocks as well. Yeah. So that's it. So he's a mock jock.
Hey, look.
But you know, he is living in Scotland, and I do have to say the Scots do welcome everyone that comes. And the minute you live in Scotland, you're Scottish. That's really the thing. I should say that because, but I do think he is a mock jock. So he's kidding on. He's more Scottish than he is.
Is he? Yeah.
Well, you know what he's like. I mean, he's wee ties and all that. I mean, he sent you a tartan tie.
He sent me a tartan tie. I think it's all an act. I'm starting to develop a sinister opinion.
Yeah, and a miniature Scottish flag, which is very disrespectful to the country. The size of the flag. It should be.
I don't have them up yet, but look at the size of the flags that other people sent me.
I was like that. Oh my god, so
is his heart in it, right? I mean, come on.
That's it,
right?
I mean, was it there to mock Scotland, the flag? You know, it's not. Yeah.
Now you're getting it.
I think so.
Now you're getting it.
I think it's to mock.
He's a total mock.
I mean, he could have sent you a Scotland stamp, and that would have been a postage stamp for the wall.
Right? I'll put it on the Challenger Way street sign.
Exactly. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I would send you a big. I would get you a big Scotland flag when you come to Scotland, and it's like. But then I wouldn't want to put Paul's nose out of joint. You know, he'd be like, "What's wrong with my flag?" And it's like holding up this wee miniature flag. Oh no.
Hilarious. Alright. So, I just had to give Paul a bit of a tongue lashing, folks, because goodness gracious, I've never seen this guy at a loss for words. So, as I said in his live, well, that just means I have to go for the throat because I finally found a weak spot on him. So, anyway.
There's some people that are, from England but living in Scotland, they don't always have an opinion. They don't always, they kind of keep their opinion close to their chest. Plus, I've noticed that people of a generation, they tend to keep their political views to themselves. With the younger generation, and I count myself in the younger generation. We're more, if you want to make a change, you've got to stand up and say what you want. So it's like keeping quiet is just not going to really make a difference, and we all stand up and say, band together and say this is what we all want. So You know, so
Yes.
it might be that. So we'll need to slap him about a wee bit and say, "Tell us what you think."
Yeah, it's like, look, dude, I'm not into your conservative or your liberal fucking, like agenda,
Yeah.
but I mean, the principles of liberty and democracy are important, and they are set up the way they are set up for a reason, and and that reason, I mean, that reason should be beyond question, and it should be beyond, it should be beyond this level of ridicule that we're seeing.
Yeah.
It should be beyond that. It's shameful to see what's happening there, and regardless of how he feels about the politics, he should like the speaker.
Be happy about the principles.
Just like the speaker.
Yep.
He should find that behavior reprehensible.
Yes.
In my opinion. But if he doesn't find it reprehensible, then maybe he agrees with it. And maybe there's deeper issues at stake here. And obviously I will continue to learn more about this. That's something I do. But, it's going to have to be a hell of a deep issue for me to look aside to this childish behavior that I'm seeing displayed by the MPs of Englandshire. So, I mean, that's just a bad note for them to start on with me.
Yeah.
For me,
I mean,
seeing that.
See, regarding the Brexit vote, obviously, I have to say, the country did vote to leave the EU, right? The whole country as a whole, do you know what I mean? But Scotland didn't. Scotland voted. Our vote still counts as part of the main, number of people.
Right.
But there's such a big divide, it's like England really, really, really wanted Brexit, and Scotland really, really didn't want it.
Right.
So it's like, but it's like, it's like they're speaking for the whole of the UK supposedly, but it's, it's really not what Scotland wants, and it's they're with their best interests, and that's why.
Clear. They're very dismissive of you, Ireland, anybody else. I would seem right. Anybody that's not right.
But
there.
remember, the world has noticed how the Scots have handled the Brexit situation. Just look at Nicola Sturgeon getting an award for from the German people there. For her outstanding work and being, for Brexit.
Yeah, working
to try and be the voice of reason.
Try to
be the voice of reason.
Like working together in community.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas, really, if we look at it, Englandshire is actually going. I mean, it's looking like they're moving towards xenophobia, or a form of it, and it's like, this is the way it looks on the outside, England. This is, I mean, from us,
and they don't want anyone coming in.
Yeah, we're looking in on it, and we're looking like, okay, it looks like England's becoming xenophobic, and whereas Scotland's being recognized
rising up,
as somebody who is an international partner. So, I don't know. Eventually, the this image is going to permeate. I mean, England may be flying under the radar for now, but eventually this is going to end up being synonymous with who they are. It's like, and it's never good when you get known for something like this.
Yeah.
Acting childish. It really is childish.
But
it's shameful and childish.
Like I said before, it's like, it's so obvious now what they're doing, but they've been doing it under the radar for so long. They've been acting like that for so long that it's like, and the media don't cover it. The media just, anything positive about Scotland is like, oh no, that didn't happen. Look, one silly wee negative thing and it's blown out that's in all the newspapers. It's not, the good things that are covered. It's like, one silly wee bad thing, and it's like they just ignore all the, like that with the Joanna Cherry and all that. It wasn't covered, and, it was just like silence, like radio silence.
One of the things I thought was disturbing too was in Wee Scottish Lash's video of the Edinburgh March, where there were so many people commenting, saying about how the the English or British media was reporting that it was an unruly mob
300
of
people.
people who were
Yeah.
who were committing acts of vandalism or whatever.
Yeah,
And you
that's
actually
what they
see the
do.
real footage. It's like hundreds of
Happy.
people all happy
Families.
and peacefully congregating and celebrating their heritage.
Yeah.
And it's nothing like, there's no violence. There's none of that, anything like that. And it's just, this is coloring my opinion of the way England is choosing to handle things, because
Exactly.
if I'm going to continue to see them report things one way and see that it's completely the opposite, I'm going to form an opinion about them similar to the way I formed one about Manitowoc, Calumet, Wisconsin.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So.
And I mean, I'm coming into that with those eyes. I mean, I've said that before. It's like, whenever we look at all the, you know, the making a murderer stuff, I always say, you know, it's like, it seems like a parallel, you know, that way when the people are acting a certain way, it's almost like a pattern, you know, that it's like, you know, you can just say, oh, right, they're doing that to hide that, to cover up, to do that, to get an end goal, to hide something, you know. So it's, you know, it's really bad, you know, and the papers are just as bad, you know, so it's crazy. They've got an agenda, but they're owned by all the people with the money that they've got a vested interest in it coming across a certain way, you know, to the people, so that they're not voting away something that's going to cost them a fortune with their big accounts, you know. So, I mean, that's that. There I go again. My soapbox. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
That seems to me like something like, you know, doing that, you know, spurning the Queen's Chancellor like that. I mean, that just seems like a disturbing trend. I mean, she's not necessarily pro-Scotland being the Queen's Chancellor, is she? Being the Queen's Chancellor...
Queen's Counsel, it's just one of our lawyers. One of the
like her main
top
lawyer,
lawyers.
Right?
Well, there's a few of them. It's like you're appointed as the Queen's...
so she's one appointed kind of in favor of Scotland?
But I don't know how many there is, but it's like, you know, it's like you work towards being that, you know, and then it's like a certain few people that are very, very good at what they do are appointed to that, you know, sort of thing. So, but I mean, it's crazy. It really is. But I mean, I like the fact that you're interested, you know, in terms of the principles of it. You know, that's good to see, because you know, because I look at the American things and, you know, think, you know, what's going on, and you know, I watch a lot of the Congress type things, you know, and it's funny the way that I always think it's funny the way that it's set up, you know, with all the different and it's like you're saying MPs, congressmen, and it's the same as me when I'm going senators or congressmen, or is it, you know, it's like and then it's the speaker, but then it's not the speaker, and then it's, you know, so
speaker.
Yeah, so
you have a speaker in the Senate, a speaker in the House. You got two different you know, bodies. So So
and then the guy at the table, whoever it is, with the press all in front of them, you know, and they've got to make their point, sort of thing, you know. So. So it's interesting. I do like it. I like watching it. It's good.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. Hopefully, we'll get this sent around and get a little response from Batchy, or we Scottish Lass, or who knows. Or hey, if nothing else, man, we put this thing out on Twitter, and we've been getting a lot of retweets from the Scottish Twitter accounts, so maybe we'll just end up, you know, creating some chatter that'll just be fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So, whatever comes. But I've had a lot of fun doing this. I really had fun taking the piss out of Paul. And, and obviously, look forward to... I really do look forward to hopefully seeing something from Batchy. That guy is really funny. So I'd love to see his response. And
I really just hope that he doesn't make his worst YouTuber. You know, have you seen any of those? Oh, when he picks someone as the worst YouTuber,
I'll be the worst YouTuber. I'm good with it.
But that lassie, she was like, I mean, that girl. Did you see that one when it was that girl? And she had her phone, and her phone was like massive, and she was blonde, and she was from Scotland, but she was like, she doesn't like it when people stopped in the street or were on skateboards, or she was so opinionated, and it was like she was the worst YouTuber. And then the other one was that
that
Morg's mum or something like that. Was it
Morg's mum? Yes.
Yeah,
I know which ones you're talking about.
So please don't make us the worst YouTuber. course.
Right.
We don't want that.
Yes. No, I do know which one you're talking about now. Yeah. Oh, you're the girl, the one girl who didn't like anybody, anything. And,
Yes.
Oh God, yeah, she was horrible.
Yeah, she was.
She was terrible. So
Yeah.
he does. He has some good stuff, man. He generates, as he calls it, good patter. He's he's really funny. So hopefully you and I have generated a little bit of funny patter here that can hopefully spark some interesting patter. And hopefully we can all continue to bounce off each other.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Promotion. But if you didn't make you the worst.
We'll get her here to build up her channel, and we'll start getting her to answer from her channel, and maybe I'll come over on her channel, and we'll chat over on her channel. So anyway. So
exactly.
So, all right, folks, that's it for this one. Say goodbye, Sharon. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, Sharon.
If you haven't already,
everyone.
please hit subscribe. We'll see ya.